What a day today's been. I just drove from Dallas to Houston to work on some Houston stuff, and a lot has happened in the last 8 hours, and it's some drama. So let's just jump right into it. Today I'm talking to you about planning for the unexpected and how to handle a last minute guest alteration, and how to handle when a guest doesn't check out the day that they're supposed to. All of it in one. Okay, roll that beautiful bean footage. Welcome back, Airbnb family. So let me set that down. There we go. Okay, so everything's coming along great in Dallas. Demi, our new executive assistant, hired a couple more cleaners. So the Dallas cleaning team is popping. Wonderful. So we've replaced our cleaners that we terminated, and we're back to running in top shape. Fort Worth, we're hiring another cleaner. I think we've got that underway. So we've got 21 Dallas properties that are running hot right now, and I think we're almost like 100% occupied. And starting the 28th of September, the Dallas State Fair, the Texas State Fair, is going to be in Dallas, which we've raised our rates for that. There's a Dallas Cowboys game the first weekend of October, and we're completely booked for that at premium rates, which is cool. So October is going to be great in Dallas. So we're picking up another 2-bedroom. This is one of the 8 properties we're picking up, over the course of the weekend, and I'm finally getting it done here because there was a delay. So I had to come down to Houston myself to hammer this contract home. So I dropped off a cashier's check, got the keys, ready to move the furniture in. But on my way, I get an email. And this is where I'm going to teach you lesson number 1, because I always teach you something. I'm never just going to rant at you guys. This is not your traditional vlog. I'm always teaching you something. So here's an inefficiency I discovered, because I got an email that was sent to my Airbnb auto email, which is for the primary co-host for my portfolio. My admin account, which I'm logged in on the app. So my admin's logged into the app, and I don't get an email from Airbnb support to my admin account. I get to my primary co-host account because that's the one dealing with most of the guests. But the problem is when they send you that email, it tries to sort of redirect you to the app to be logged into that account. So if you have both accounts and you get an email trying to resolve something as the primary co-host, you can't open it from your admin account, right? So what you need to do is you need to log into the app as your primary co-host account, and then on a browser log in as your admin, right? If you ever get an email where maybe you have to do resolutions, you can still go to the resolution center on the browser. That's pretty simple. But if you need to communicate with Airbnb support from your co-host account, you'll want to be logged in on the app. Because response time for them, we actually had them take money from us because we didn't respond in an hour because I couldn't, and I messaged Catherine and she didn't get my message in time or something, and we didn't respond in an hour. So the guest got like $60 from us. Yeah, little things. They add up. They definitely do add up. Imagine that happening a lot. So that's one fix, but let's talk about this email. The email says that a guest wants a full refund, and this is where the drama starts to unravel, like during my car ride down to Houston. We have a guest checking out of this 2-bedroom property, but she doesn't check out, right? She's MIA. We can't get a hold of her. She's got the keys. She won't respond. Catherine's trying to communicate like by phone calls and by text messages, which is her primary thing. We've talked about this, and I told her that she needs to communicate through the app all the time on the Airbnb platform, and I'm about to tell you why. So she's not communicating. We can't get in there to clean. We can't get in there to make it ready for the next guest. We've got another guest who's booked, and he's driving this big 16-foot like food truck, and of course we need to accommodate him. Thankfully, we have a 3-bedroom nearby that we can put him in for 2 nights while we try to resolve this issue with the guest that's not leaving, right? So Catherine finds a place for him. She meets it with him in person, gets him set up and checked in. He agrees to being over there for a night or 2 while we figure out what's up with this other building. So we thought we're good there. The problem here is Catherine did not do a few things. So you need to do these things in order. If a guest, because there's a consequence, and I'm getting to that. So if a guest hasn't checked out, contact that guest on the platform, right, to show that you are doing your job as a host. And Airbnb is going to look at the platform communication as their way to discern what you're up to. Reach out to the guest on the platform, then send a text to make a phone call, like I need the keys, right? But do all your communication on the platform first. Then contact any future guests that might be affected by this inability to host them all of a sudden, and see if you can come up with a solution for them. If it's like this, you might have to delay them a few hours or a day. You don't know yet, but you need to communicate with that guest. That guest is the most important part of this situation, and communication with them should be paramount, making sure they're accommodated. So you want to communicate with them and try to find a solution, get them to agree to something, right? Then you call Airbnb and say, here's my situation. I've got a guest that's not leaving. I've got to put a guest somewhere else in the meantime. I've already talked to that guest. I have it under control, and here's my solution for now, right? I want to let you know that I've got it handled, but we need to put something on paper here. You can also reach out to the guest who is being affected by this checkout problem and make sure that they're okay and confirm that we agreed upon something, right? Get that documented by Airbnb. You'll need that later, maybe, right? So now you make sure that that other guest is accommodated with your backup plan, and you're pursuing that other guest like aggressively to get those keys back and try to get them checked out. You can assess them like a fee for late checkout. You can charge them for an extra day. If that other guest cancels and you do this right, you can charge that guest for the cancellation that you had to pay to the second guest. If they cancel and the guest gets a refund, that guest who's not vacating the property could be liable for that. But everything needs to be like ducks in a row here. So the problem that we're having, because that did not happen that way, right? Catherine did everything through text message and phone calls. She didn't document everything on Airbnb, and she sure as hell didn't call Airbnb and say, here's our problem, and here's how I fixed it. She didn't do that, and that's really the nail in the coffin here. The guest who we put somewhere else last night, he decides that he doesn't want to move to the reservation area that he actually booked initially, right? He wants a full refund unless we accommodate some really egregious, or a kind of unachievable thing, which is to move other people around, I think, and let him stay in this 3-bedroom. I think that's what's going on. So now he wants a full refund because he doesn't want to go back to the place that he booked originally. And he calls Airbnb, and Airbnb pretty much sides with him immediately because there's been no correspondence from us, right? No proof that we've done anything to accommodate this guy. He just says, hey, I've been mistreated. I'm not in the place that I booked. This is really stupid. I want a refund. So now Catherine's been on the phone for an hour walking the Airbnb support rep through proof that all of this has been done on the up and up, and it's not our fault. She's got to send screenshots and stuff via emails. Like, she's got to send proof that she's been speaking to the guest. And it's been a headache. We could lose $1,400 on this reservation. And if they cancel this reservation, it's a violation of like host standards. So they'll block all the dates so you can't get a new booking, and they'll give you a $100 fine. You can even get your listing paused for stuff like this, right? Not cool. So if you want to avoid this type of trouble and you've got a lot of properties like me, there should be a protocol that you follow to cover your ass. And that is the core of this forewarning. So line up your Airbnb app to be able to communicate with Airbnb however they communicate with you most, which is probably your primary co-host account. Handle your resolutions and asking guests for money and sending money through a web browser, or do it on your desktop. That's way less frequent than this in-the-moment communication. Then if you ever have a guest that's not checking out, do it in that order. Reach out on the platform, the Airbnb platform, to both guests, and then call the guest that's going to get affected and help them out, make them the priority, and then let Airbnb know you have it under control and that here's your resolution and what you're doing, so that way they can confirm with that affected guest. Do it like that. Airbnb will have faith in you as a host because they want to work with you, and you're much more likely to come out ahead where you're not going to get canceled on. And if you get canceled on, the guest that did the wrong thing is the one who will have to pay for the reservation. So hope this helps you out a ton, because it's a headache for me today. And that's just the beginning of what my day was. I'll tell you about the rest of it later. So if you want more drama, subscribe, because there's tons of it here at Airbnb Automated. It's 47 properties. Something happens like every day. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the other side.